Donald Trump, he's in Turkey. He's in Ankara, Turkey, the Turkish capital. This is day 2 of the NATO summit. Now, yesterday, the president came in guns a-blazing for Italy, France, Germany, the UK, and the other European NATO allies that he says did nothing for us to help us fight Iran in the war with Iran. We'll get to the latest on Iran. The ceasefire is dead. It's over. But in the meantime, Donald Trump yesterday, guns a-blazing. I'm unhappy with NATO.
Not happy with NATO because of what they did with Greenland, and I'm not happy with NATO because of the fact that they didn't want to help us with the #1 state sponsor of terror, that's Iran. They were unwilling to help us.
Okay, by the way, that's the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte with the president at the NATO summit, day 2 for that in Turkey. Just about an hour ago, the president had another availability, and he said there was a lot of love in the room today. And so I don't know if they're mending fences or if the Germans, the French, the Italians, and the UK decided to butter him up and flatter him, but he said there was a lot of love in the room today. Maybe with the exception of Spain. We're very angry with the Spanish Prime Minister. Trump says he's no good and that they're no good, and we're going to cut off trade with Spain altogether. So if you like the jamon iberico and Spanish leather goods, you better get it before they're not here anymore.
Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate, they don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please.
Just take a note over there, Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary Lutnick, Rubio, you too. That's what's going. He's got them all on the couch over there. All right, he surprised a lot of people, including Rubio, I think, by bringing up Greenland again. President says we got to get control of Greenland. It's very important to U.S. security. The Denmark doesn't spend $1, and it's a very small country. We need Greenland more than the Danes do.
Greenland is a big problem for us. And the other big problem is the fact that when we wanted them, we didn't want them badly, but we did say, if you want to join us, and they all said no. But when they could have, they weren't there for us. And we've been there for them. We spent over $1 trillion over the last short period, $1 trillion, in order to protect these countries from Russia. And has nothing to do with us. We have an ocean, but it's been a long-term thing, and they haven't treated us right. When Denmark was overrun by the Nazis in less than 1 day, Hitler beat them out in 1 day, took over. They asked us to take care of Greenland. In fact, we took Greenland, and then stupidly we gave it back. We shouldn't have given it back to them because we're the ones that need it. We need it for protection of the world, not just the United States. And it's very important. It doesn't help Denmark, but it helps us.
I guess that what really wasn't put to bed. Listen, the big story on Action News, as they say, is the ceasefire with Iran is over. The Iranians went after some ships in the Straits of Hormuz. Donald Trump started bombing them again. We hit 80 targets last night. He says we may go after them again tonight. If they want to come back and talk, it's a waste of time at this point. So it's uncertain where we're going here, though we know the ceasefire is over, and Donald Trump is calling the Iranians in charge, if there is someone in charge, scum.
They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars.
Now, by the way, 10:36 in the morning, the price of oil is going up, and the stock market is going down, based on that disappointing news that came out of Ankara, Turkey, that the ceasefire with Iran is over. He's in Ankara, Turkey, which is the inland Turkey. That's the capital of Turkey. He's being hosted by President Erdogan, the Turkish strongman. Some say he's a dictator. Trump is cozying up to him. He likes the way he's being treated, and he said, the only reason I came to this NATO summit is because you, President Erdogan, are hosting it, because those others over there, the European allies, I have no use for them right now. Contrary to that.
Well, as I said, it would destroy the power balance in the Middle East because Turkey, I think, has aggressive aspirations. I mean, they openly say that. They want to restore the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire not only included Turkey, it included many other countries, included Syria, it included pieces of Jordan, included all of present-day Israel, included some Gulf countries. So this is This is not a force for peace and stability. And if you give this kind of radical regime that admittedly smiles to America when it is necessary, or smiles to the President of the United States when it's necessary, when you give them that power, you're going to see aggression in its wake. I wouldn't do that.
I don't know if you caught me saying, contrary to Donald Trump's glowing reviews of his Turkish host, is Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu warning that Erdogan is a dangerous man. He's a strong man. He locks up the opposition, and he wants Greece is against us giving them any fighter jets. You know, Greece and Turkey, they have an historical animosity. So there's another side to Erdogan that Netanyahu is warning Trump against getting too close to. Play it. Second bite.
I think that everybody understands that, notwithstanding the personal friendship that President Trump has with Erdogan, it doesn't make Turkey a friendly or a friendly state to the United States. To the contrary, it's a regime that's infected with the Muslim Brotherhood, which hates the United States. He harbors Hamas, the Hamas terrorists. He supports them. He finances them. He's thrown his opponents in jail, all of them. He throws more journalists in jail than anyone can understand. So he's not exactly a model ally of the United States. But even worse than that, he threatens Greece, a NATO ally. He occupies half of Cyprus, another NATO country. And the most important thing, and I put it right on the table, he threatens to destroy my country, the one and only Jewish state. His number two says that we have no place among the nations, and you know what that means. And his number three, the interior minister, says that he's looking forward to be the governor of Jerusalem. Hello, you know, we're a sovereign country. We've been independent, and we intend to stay independent.
Now, Paul Harvey used to say, now you know the rest of the story.